Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Ignorant Intellectual on Media. Today, I thought we would speak about how to maybe make some space on some overburdened shelves that have a lot of films on it. And this usually happens. This is the biggest issue when it comes to collecting um, physical media, all right, is finding space for your physical media. Eventually, the shelves that you have your media on will fill up and you start running out of space. So, how do you make space on your shelves so that you can have more media than you have presently. All right. If you're a collector, you want to continue collecting. You want to expand your movie collection because you watch a lot of movies, right? And new movies come out all the time that you want to watch and keep so that you can have access to them anytime you want, which doesn't happen with the streaming service, right? So what do you do about it? Well, there's a couple things. There's not a huge amount of things that you can do about it, but there is a few things that will, free up a little bit of space, anyways, and some space so that you can collect some more films. So let me give you an example here. All right, so here's a 12 Years a Slave. I had this on a DVD for the last while, and just recently I found it in a Blu-ray. All right, so now I have the Blu-ray and the DVD on my shelf, and it's taking up that much space. Okay, what can I do about it? Well, I can just get rid of the DVD, right? And I've upgraded to a Blu-ray. I don't need the DVD anymore. That will save that much amount of space. Or if I had this DVD on my shelf and now I replace it with Blu-ray, the Blu-ray is thinner. Okay, so um, on average, I would say that if you have 4 DVDs, you can fit 5 Blu-rays in that same amount of space. All right. So if you replace, if you upgrade your collection from DVD to Blu-ray, and you get rid of the Blu-ray, um, you know, every like fourth time you do that, you'll have a room for a fifth movie, a fifth Blu-ray, right? So that's one way you can do it. It doesn't save a lot of space, but it does give you a little bit of breathing room, right? But what happens if you want to keep the DVD? All right. Like myself personally, I like keeping the DVD because what I do is I play um, a lot of films on my laptop because I have a son that runs around, and I can't really put films on the main television with my son running around. He's a young boy, and I can't put an R-rated film while my son's watching the TV with me. It you know no, that exposure is not right. So what I do is I watch it on my laptop on my Lazy Boy, and I let him have the main TV, and he's occupied with the main TV. I can watch something on my laptop. He doesn't see it. If he comes over and sits down on me, then I'll just pause it or close my laptop, and I'll go back to watching it when he's off playing again, right? So I watch a lot of my films on my laptop. So what I do with my laptop is I will transfer DVDs into MKV files, and I'll store them on an external hard drive on my laptop, and then I'll watch it at my leisure, right? I could do that with a Blu-ray as well, but a Blu-ray is like, 5 times the size, 4 or 5 times the size of a DVD, and so that occupies a lot of just like shelves in your house with all your movies on it. A external hard drive only has so much space on it, right? And if you can have a movie that's maybe, let's say, 6 or 7 gigs, 6 or 7 gigs, or you can have a movie that's like 30 gigs. Um, I would choose the 6 or 7 gig one because the size of a screen on a laptop isn't all that large, and the difference between a Blu-ray, difference between a DVD and a Blu-ray. I mean, you see the difference on the screen, but it's not a huge difference, and it doesn't really detract if you watch the DVD over the Blu-ray. I mean, it it shows a lot more when you're on a 55 or 65 or 75-inch television, like a smart TV or whatever, but it doesn't show as much on the smaller screens, right? So you can watch a DVD and enjoy it quite well, even though it's not a Blu-ray and it might be just a little less clear, right? Um, so that's what I do. Okay, so I want to keep the DVD um, as an archive. So I'll watch this on my TV, and I'll watch this as a transferred MKV file on my laptop. So this is an archive disk just in case, whether a hard drive fails and I lose all my MKV files or I get a corruption somewhere, I still have a hard copy of the film. So I want to keep it but I'll also upgrade. So what do you do with this? Well, there are. Um, Let me see if I can find one quickly. You know, when you're trying to find something, you never find it. All right, so we won't bother with it. Okay, so basically, when you buy Blu-rays, all right, a lot of them come as a Blu-ray DVD combo, right? So what popped into my head was, well, I have the Blu-ray and the DVD separate in two cases, but when I do find a Blu-ray DVD combo, I usually get rid of this DVD, right? Because I have them both in the Blu-ray case, right? So why not do that anyways, um, without having to find a Blu-ray DVD combo? Make your own Blu-ray DVD combo, is what I'm talking about, right? So, so you find a case that has two trays for two Blu-ray two discs, and you just take your Blu-ray out, you put it in one, you take your DVD out, you put it in the other tray, and then you take the outside sleeve of the Blu-ray and you put it in the double disc Blu-ray case, and now you have the Blu-ray and the DVD like this is a combo. The only difference, of course, is it doesn't say Blu-ray DVD combo on the front, or sometimes they will have the Blu-ray symbol and the DVD symbol on the spine. But I don't think that's a big deal, right? So now I have both the Blu-ray and the DVD, which I want, in a Blu-ray case, and now instead of it being this thick on my shelf, it's only this thick, okay? So you do that, you can save space, okay? That's one way to do it, all right? Either just, get rid of the DVD and just keep the Blu-ray, or combine the two in a Blu-ray case that can hold two discs, right? Now you can buy those if you don't have any, two trade Blu-ray cases. You can get them off Amazon for like a buck maybe. You can get 100 of them for like around $100, right? So you can so it's you're going to spend a little bit more money. You're going to spend $1, but to get rid of it. So you're kind of spending a little bit extra money to get some space on your shelves. So what's another way that you can save some space on your shelves? Okay, so the second way of doing that, all right, is what's a good example? Okay, here's one example. All right. So let's say you like the Hangover trilogy and you have the Hangover trilogy maybe on DVD and Blu-ray, like individually. Well, here's one solution. Okay, so here's the Hangover on Blu-ray um, in one DVD case. Okay, so if you have them on Blu-ray individually, the case is going to be 3 times as wide as this one. So when you get the collection together in one, you can get rid of the three others, and you can save space for another two Blu-rays, right? And if you have um, three DVDs of them as well, well, you can take this and change the disc out, the case out for instead of, let's say, a 3 disc Blu-ray case, to a 6 disc Blu-ray case, and then just put all the three DVDs in it, just like you did with the individual ones that I just showed you, right? So you can, but that'll be a little bit more expensive, because to buy a Blu-ray case that can hold 6 Blu-ray discs, yeah, you're going to probably spend over $5 on it, maybe even up to $10. Um, so that is kind of cost prohibitive. So maybe you'll just replace the Blu-rays with this, and then you'll get one that's like this with DVDs that has all 3 films in one DVD case. It is out there because I have it. Um, and then you'll just have the two of them, like this together, instead of having, you'll have the two of them together instead of having like 6. So you do save space that way. All right, so that's another way. Or you can go really, really high end, and let's say you're a big fan of Elia Kazan, who did like On the Waterfront and East of Eden and those older films, and you have them all on DVD, or maybe you have some of them on Blu-ray and some of them on DVD. Um, uh, you buy this. All right. So this is a very large box set of 16 of Kazan's films. All right. And all of his film noir and all of his other ones, like it's a beautiful box set. Like has Streetcar Named Desire, East of Eden, Baby Doll, On the Waterfront. His film noir stuff as well. And if you have all that on individual discs, so these are all DVDs, I think. Are they all? Yeah, they're all DVDs. They're not Blu-rays. Um, I think this box set has a Blu-ray version of it as well, but don't quote me on that. Um, so you get this box set, all right, and now you take 16, if you have all 16 of these films, right? You'll take 16 films off your shelf, like that much space, by buying a box set, and then most of the shelving that you will have will be like 5, maybe 6 feet high, and you'll be able to fit this on top of it like that, or maybe like that, all right, and it'll save you a lot of space on your shelves. So that's another way, and you can get director you know director stuff, um, uh, director cases, with 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 films in it, by one director, right? So here's one that I showed in a previous video. Here's the Spike Lee collection. It has 5 films in it, right? So I have 4 of the 5 of these films, um, 3 of them on DVD and 1 of them on Blu-ray. So I'll probably keep the Blu-ray because these are DVDs. Um, but I'll take the other 3 and take them off my shelf and sell them. And then I'll put this, which is the size of maybe 1 and a bit DVD, and I'll be taking off 3 DVDs. So that will leave me some space as well. But you can get like Woody Allen collection box set that maybe might be this thick and has like, let's say, 20 of his films in it. So on your shelf it's like this big. So that's another way to save some shelf space. There is another way, but it involves construction, right? So maybe you're putting your films in shelving that is meant for books, all right? So if you have bookcases that you're putting your films in, you'll notice that the space between the 2 shelves is large, and maybe your DVD Blu-ray case only goes up to here, and then you have all this other space before you get the next shelf above it that you're putting on, right? So it's better to get shelving that is meant for media, like CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, right? So that's what I have. IKEA has a shelving tower like this. There's like 8 of them. You see behind me, they go along 8, right? And they almost hit the ceiling, and there's 10 shelves on each one if you're displaying CDs, and it's 8 shelves if you're displaying DVDs or Blu-rays, right? So you can fit 8 shelves, and usually it's around 10 DVDs across. So in each one of these towers, you can fit 80 DVDs or maybe 85 Blu-rays, um, and more CDs, right? So these are really good because they occupy all the space on your wall. They're not short, let's say only up to here, and then you have all that space up to your ceiling that's free. But those are good if you end up buying things like this, right? If you buy this to save space on your shelves, that's good because you'll save a lot of space because it's 16 films, right? Um, so get shelving that will go up higher on. That's a way of adding more space to your shelving, and add more movies to your collection, right? Unfortunately, with these things are very convenient because they're thin. You know what I mean? They're thin and they're easy to pick up and move around. That's why I love them. And when people are selling them, they fit in my SUV, right? Whereas, if you get one of those larger media units, they don't fit. You have to rent a U-Haul or something to move the thing, right? So I like these because they're easily manageable. You can move them around as you want, and you can line them all up to make it look like one large media um, case, even though it's all individual, right? The only issue with that is that you're lining them up, and so this space here, if you notice um, between the two towers, you have this space here all the time. And right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 across, all right, and it's 8 high. Okay, so if this was just one big uh, media case and you got rid of these, well, these will fit like 3 media, like 3 Blu-rays or 2.5 DVDs, right? So if you think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there will be 8 of them and 8 lower. So 8 times, let's say 3 is 24, and then you multiply it by 8 again, right? That's like almost 200 extra DVDs you could fit if these weren't here, if this was all attached as one unit, right? So that's something that you could also think of as well, is building your own shelves to, you know, to maximize your space, right? And you can. It's not a serious project. You just need the wood and have the hardware store, cut the wood into the space that you want it to. And there's tutorials on YouTube on how to build shelving, right? Media shelving. And you can, so even with these ones, see, this is a DVD, right? And see the space between them? The space is quite significant. So if you could move the shelves up a bit, so that there's a finger, just like a finger between the two shelves for you to take the movie out. You could probably fit another maybe 1 or 2 um, shelving across to add like 2 more lines of media, right? So these these are easy to use, but they do take up a bit of space. But I don't think I'm going to change over and um, make my own shelves or anything. So I'll have to use the space that I'm using and use it this way, right? So what I've done is I have a bunch of shelves that have all my films on, all my movies on it, but I also have like 12, 12 of these towers full of my CD collection. Into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 12 of them. So what I'm doing is I'm slowly boxing my CD collection because I don't listen to CDs. What I do with them is similar to what I do with these. Is I transfer them into FLAC files or MP3 files, and I put them on an external uh, flash drive, and then I plug them into my car, and I listen to the music. I don't listen to much music at home. I'm usually watching movies or TV shows. Where I do listen to a lot of music is in my car, and so I have like a 32 gig um, flash drive that I just plug into my car, and it holds a couple thousand albums or whatever. And I can put my whole library on maybe 10 to 15 of these 32 gig flash drives, and then I just rotate them in and out as it takes me like 3 or 4 months to listen to one of these 32 gig flash drives, 2,000 albums or whatever, just being in the car or whatever, right? So it takes me a few months just to listen to one of them. So I go through my collection. It might take 2 years to go through my collection, right, of music. So I I would display my CDs more of along the line of knowing what I want, knowing what I have, right? So I can access it on the shelf, go up to the shelf and say, okay, do I have Led Zeppelin 4 or do I not have Led Zeppelin 4? So I can go up to the shelf and look at it. But what I've done is I've cataloged all that online um, and at a couple of places online. So I know what I have and what I don't have, and I just use my phone to access what it is, right? So um, worst comes to worst, if the online sources dry up or whatever, I can take them back out of the boxes. But what I want is those 12 shelves to use for films because films are starting to pile up on my floor, right? So I need more space for that, right? Anyway, so that's 3 ways that you can basically make some space on your shelves. Upgrade to Blu-rays because Blu-rays take up less space than DVDs, or join the DVDs and Blu-rays together in a Blu-ray case. Find box sets of directors or films so that you can take out the individual ones and just use the box sets to save space. Um, Trilogies are great with that, or franchise films, um, where you have all the franchise films together in one, like Alien. Alien would be a nice franchise. They actually have a DVD box set of all the aliens and all the predators all together in one box set on DVD, and they have all the aliens in one pretty small Blu-ray case as well that you can take all these Blu-ray sorry, all these cases off that involve alien or predator, right? Um, and there's a whole bunch of those. So the more you use those, the more space you end up being able to create for more films on, right? And or you just have to customize and build your own shelves to maximize the space that you have, and because the space is going to be limited. So in your limited space, you can make shelving that can maximize that amount of space that you have to create more space for your ever enlarging collection, right? So hope those tips are good, and maybe you even knew these tips already. Maybe this is just good for the newbies. But eventually you will run out of space for your collection, and it's good to have little tips on how to maximize the space so that you can fit as much of your collection on your shelves as possible. So thank you for watching this video, and I'm glad you spent the time with me, and I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to my channel. Right now, I think this is video number 5. But it's ever expanding, and it'll get larger as we go along, and as I do more and more videos. And hope you enjoyed this one, like I said. And I'll talk to you in the next video. So you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.